I'm Guy WSS, editor of WSS Magazine, and this is a special Wargaming report. We're bringing you behind-the-scenes coverage for the anniversary of Operation Market Garden, right here from the heart of the battlefield, 78 years later. I'm joined here today by Richard Clarke and Nick Skinner, who are, of course, the Too Fat Lardies. What are we doing here today?
Well, we're at the Hartenstein Hotel, or the Airborne Museum as it's called now, formerly the headquarters of the 1st British Airborne Division, and we're running a Wargames display event, I guess you call it, an engagement activity with the public. People come to the museum, are able to watch and take part in the Wargames that we put together. We've got 4 tables. So, Rich, do you want to say what the tables are that we've got? Or do you want me to do all the talking?
Right, okay. The important thing that we've tried to do is capture 3 kind of elements of what's going on here on the Easterbeek perimeter. So off to the northeast, we've got the main dressing station Crossroads, which is a junction or Utrechtsweg and Stationsweg. And then the central table at the crux of it all, if you like, is the Hartenstein Hotel. Then off to the north, we've got the suburban residential area where we're looking at the area around Mariastadt, Paul Krugerstadt, Straat, and then off to the northwest we've got the Utrechtsweg again, where the road's running right the way through, and where it meets the parkland around the Sonnenberger line, isn't it?
Yep.
So we kind of got urban, suburban, and semi-rural. So we're showing 3 facets of the battle for the Easterbeek perimeter.
So, and if you think of it therefore as the thumb-shaped perimeter, as it's famously described, we're doing the very top of the thumb. We're doing the top of the thumb from the north and the east and the west. So we're not doing the area down by the river, and we're not doing the bridge.
I think one of the things that's really interesting is the fact that because we've chosen sites that are relatively close to the Hartenstein, which is where people are going to be standing when they're looking at our tables and talking to us about it. You know, one site's 100 yards in that direction, the other 200 yards in that direction, the other 150 yards to the north. People can relate what they're seeing on the table to the locality of where they are actually standing in reality. And also what we've tried to do is take some of the landmark buildings and replicate those as faithfully as possible, so that people can come in and go, hey, I know that building, I know where I am. So it's a real compliment to what we see here in the museum.
And it's not wargaming people, it's members of the general public. So people that have never seen a wargame before are coming into the room and they're asking questions about what we do, how we do it, how we play the game. We're encouraging people to roll dice, to get involved, to see how chain of command works, and we've had people of all ages and gender playing the game. It'd be fantastic. And people also that we're putting models on the table of a real location. We've got people turning up in the room who live in the houses that we put on the table.
Oh, that was excellent.
Not the tiny small ones, but the real versions.
Real size people in real size houses have come in to see the small size people with replica houses. And that's been really, really interesting and fun as well, hasn't it? It's been good, it's been really good. It's been a cracking event.
I'm joined here today by Aidan Al, who've created one of the amazing tables we're using here today. So, gentlemen, what was your favourite building to build?
For me, it was the shoe lord. That was the first one I built, and scratch building it with resin attachments, windows and chimneys, etc. But studying for that, finding it in the archives, finding the bits I couldn't see on normal photos, and digging into it, but then creating that building and knowing that I could use that technique then to carry on through my part of the map. So yeah, it's great fun that was.
Well, I've been lucky enough to work with the fantastic 3D printed buildings from Paul Edwards at Sabotage, and they've been a real joy. It's a completely different experience to be painting 3D stuff, but the central one of my 3 is the garage on the Petersburgsweg, which is a unique building. There's no others like it, and researching a building that is still there and still looks exactly like it did on the day in 1944. Yesterday, however, I got to meet the guy who lives in the garage, my favourite building. And he's 3 generations of his family have been there. He told me about the V2 bomb that landed in the garden and didn't go off. He told me about the neighbours, the flower shop that was downstairs, everything now has come to life with those 3 buildings. Our tour guide Luke also said he used to shop for sweets in the shop. He used to play with the children who lived at the garage in the rooms upstairs. And the guy on the end of the row was in the Resistance. So all those buildings have now got a life of their own, and that's been a moment you couldn't get anywhere else.
Stories,
Yeah, actual original history. Thank you very much, gents.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
For any military history enthusiast, this was truly a special weekend event. And if you've enjoyed our coverage, you can find more photos and after-action reporting at Wargames Soldiers and Strategy magazine. Now I'm sure you all want to know who won the war game. It was closely fought, and much as it pains me to say, the British powers failed to rewrite history. But that's why we love tabletop wargaming. There's always next time. Follow WSS on Twitter or Instagram. Better yet, become a magazine subscriber.